Hello, everybody, and welcome to the special edition of the Healthcare Tech Show. Problem is, today is not about tech or healthcare. It's about something even more special. I am honored to have two of my friends who became part of our inner circle that we call the Eagles Club because we push each other to higher levels, to levels where there is less competition, there's more ambition, and there is even more amplifying effect. Welcome to the show, Tara and Tracy.
Lovely to be here.
Thanks for
So
having us.
absolutely, for the audience, Tara is a best-selling author of the book Grasp Your Confidence and the #1 TEDx speaker in February 2024. Her TEDx talk inspired over 400,000 people in less than a month. Tracy is a multiplier coach. She's had honors from the Queen herself and has an 8 exit under her belt. I'm Dr. Nadia Boutaoui, an innovator, entrepreneur, and more importantly, mom-in-chief. A few years ago, I would keep that mom-in-chief in the background, but I learned through my circle of friends, success circle, to embrace my full self. That's the only way that you can elevate yourself to higher grounds. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting us. I know I'm absolutely delighted to be with you two fantastic ladies.
Absolutely, absolutely. So we wanted to share this very special thing that we have together and how it came about and how it can help you also find the right people, that you are the right frequency, that you have the best for each other. And as Tara mentioned, we nudge each other sometimes to get, to that next challenge, to aim bigger, to aim higher. So, Tracy or Tara, do you want to share with the audience how we came about the Circle of Friends and how it started?
Yes, I can certainly start. So you and I were connected through the Founders Sunday initially. And I remember having a couple of posts for you, and we were so aligned, and we jumped on a call. And what I loved about talking to you is I just felt that fit, that energetic fit. I just felt with you that what I see was what I got. It was so authentic. And to me, that's just one of the most magical qualities, when I'm looking to connect with people. So you and I have worked together. You've inspired me massively on my AI journey, and you've been incredible. And then one day you said to me, "God, you've got to meet Tara." So Tara and I then jumped on a call, and again, same connection, and just loving. Both of you have been so inspirational to me, and in both of you stretching me out of my comfort zone, which I particularly love. And you brought or reconfirmed, Tara, that beauty of gratitude. And I'm just so grateful to you for that. So that's the way I've met you guys. And I just feel like we're a group together that supports and has each other's back. And it's very special. So thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you.
I love that. And Nadia, I met you from Founders Sunday as well. So Nadia and I connected through Founders Sunday. And then we were connected on LinkedIn, but I was like, Nadia is like way out of my league. I don't know if I can approach Nadia. She's way too up there, right? And then you approached me. So thank God for taking that responsibility off my shoulders. And it was it was right around the time I published my book, How to Grasp Confidence and Own Your Power. And I was like super open about, hey, I've never written a book. I'm trying my best, not sure how to go about this. And you reached out to me in kindness and gave me some pointers, like a podcast or two to listen to from somebody who had become a New York Times bestselling author and how she did it through marketing. And so interesting and instrumental in helping my success. And you didn't know me from Adam, really. We had never talked before. And you were like, I hope you don't mind me. And I was like, I'll take all the advice I can get. What are you talking? Bring me more advice. And you were like, why, if you want to know why am I doing this, it's because I just genuinely want to help other women succeed. And I was like, you know what? This person is a real genuine article. And that's how you and I met. And then, of course, you introduced me to Tracy. I met Tracy in London in person. And then Tracy ended up buying my book and has become a huge advocate for my book. You guys both have. So love you guys. Like, seriously. So awesome.
Love you both. Love you both. Yeah, I thought, the what, as you described, I met you through Founder Sunday, and especially with you, Tara. I thought it's so unlike me to cold DM somebody, giving unsolicited advice, but I somehow thought that you needed that information at that particular time. So I followed my intuition, saying that this is what I think may be useful for you. Take it or not, but this could be helpful for your book launch. And I think, we evolved from there. And I really thought that you were also genuine in your content. It spoke to me on LinkedIn. It was authentic. It's almost like what you see with Tara is what you get. It comes from the genuine, gratitude. It's anchored in gratitude, as you describe it in your book. Same thing with Tracy. Your leadership content, it's really spot on, especially when it comes to leading yourself, getting deeper, going through the roots. It's not only what you see above the surface, it's the deep stuff that people don't dare to go into. And that really spoke to me. And then we exchanged, we were attending events together in Founder Sunday. You were among the first adopters who believed in my ability to help, business leaders with AI. And you were among the first to do, the workshop with me. You're a founding member for the upcoming community to help business leaders. So, and again, you were pushing me to, think bigger. You can do this. Why are you limiting yourself? What if? I had instances, for example, where I was willing to pay top dollars for a coach to get an advice that I need to be in the background and have, a wingman in the front in order to get business. So your advice is like, no, you need to embrace yourself. You have no idea how powerful when you are aligned with your values, when you're authentic in what you're doing and showing genuine interest in helping others. That's when you connect with the right people. And that's how I feel with you both.
And Nadia, I think what you just said is it's so perfect there. I think it's when you build this circle of success, what I've found is I've been magnetized to people who are authentic. So therefore, when you said to me, if someone's told me to hide, I was like, no, you're the beauty, you're the power, you're what people are buying and resonating with. And I think it's having people in your circle who see those magic elements that you have and help you step forward and really embrace that spotlight and embrace that zone of genius, because you're so good at what you do, Nadia. And the idea, I remember it going to my core when you said, no, I've got to be behind. It's like, oh my goodness, absolutely not. And I think that's one of the beautiful things that I think the three of us have, that I certainly look for in the people that I work with, is we've got each other's back, and there's that genuine love and care to do and say whatever the person needs to hear, to really help them stretch themselves and move forward, because each of you has such capability.
Oh, so thank you.
That's
so.
And
I think, go ahead, Tara.
Oh, I was just gonna say that's so on point, and you really have stretched me too, Tracy, in such a wonderful way. The conversations we had were just phenomenal. Addressing limiting beliefs. No amount of anything external is ever going to change if you have a limiting belief that anchors you to some reality, right? That you don't want, that's not serving you. And that was such a powerful insight that I had talking with you, Tracy, was just that, again, having people in your life that can help you grow, really crack that shell open. That's so key.
Yeah.
It's so key, and I think there's a balance, and I think about this a lot with the business owners that I work with. It's having, on the one hand, the safety and the trust and the alignment of values, but also balanced with that blend of challenging diverse mindsets and diverse thinking, that where you're really stretching those boundaries of possibility. You need both. You need the metaphorical arms around you, but you equally need someone to go, hey, but what if we did it this radical way, and what if we disrupt it? Because that's where, isn't that where we get the growth and the excitement? When we do feel a bit of fear, and we feel a bit of out of our comfort zone, but we know someone's behind us going, you can do it, Tara, you can do it, Nadia. And then you take it forward.
Yeah, exactly. And the other thing that I thought was important is to be, in addition to trusting your intuition and how you feel about the energy of others, I think that was the missing element for me. That energy, it's, as the French say, je ne sais quoi about the other people that can attract you and turn you into a magnet for pulling in the right people and repelling the wrong ones. And trusting that gut feeling, or and even being vulnerable to a certain extent, that you feel there is that trust within that circle, that it's okay to be vulnerable and to share not just the wins but the setbacks or the struggles.
Absolutely.
So yeah, and so how do you you can take that first, Tracy. How do you judge whether you're getting the energy or not for the audience?
For me, I'm a real feeler. So I genuinely feel it in my body and my gut. I just notice literally in my body if I'm feeling relaxed and at ease, or if something's a bit, if there's some tension there, or maybe there's a knot in my stomach, or I'm like, there's something in my mind thinking, oh, what's the other person's agenda? So often I will notice it physically, and just maybe that voice in my head. But generally it starts with a physical feeling, and a feeling of just being out of alignment. Something's not connecting and sitting with me. And I've learned to just sit with that and give it some space, because sometimes it can be someone warming up or getting into it, or they might be nervous, but I just keep tuning into it. And I think that is my most powerful connection. And I think if I reflect, when I look back about when there's been that congruence, is when now I look and can connect the dots, it's when we've been aligned on values. So if you think of the three of us, and naturally I think words into your mouths, loving and caring, and we put the other people first, and that's a huge connecting factor between us. And I know I could feel that instantly. So I think, that would be my initial reaction. How about you, Tara?
I love that. Well, I want to compliment what you just said, because when you find people that are aligned in values, you know what else you notice? That they're aligned in vibration, they're aligned in frequency, right? So that alignment of values it has that direct correlation to that vibration of that other person, that frequency. Everything is energy. And people that are high level frequency, and anyone can increase their frequency, by the way, through feelings of love, gratitude, right? That's good ways to do it. But when we hang around each other, it's almost, I feel more creative. I feel more attracting. I feel like, we just have a couple conversations and it's like, oh my gosh, what can't we do? Just a couple weeks ago, right? We were talking about, what, let's just go and reach out to the billionaires.
I know. I was like, and I got an answer. I was like, pinch me moment. And I think if it wasn't having the right circle that empowers you, that I'm not going to go to the 100+ millionaires. I'm going to go to the billionaires. And I did. And
why not?
If it was like a year ago, I would not have dared to do that. I'm like, no, they're way out of my league. Why would they respond to me? That's the amplifying effect. That it's almost like 2 + 2 + 2. It's exponential, not additional. Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah. And how do you, let's say, networking, because we all met online through LinkedIn. A lot of people, they do a lot of DMs, for example, and they do it wrong. What would be the right way to start initiating those conversations? Tara, you're the pro in PR and Brandon, you want to start?
Speaking my language. First off, it's not selling, it's starting conversations. So the best way to reach out to somebody is generally by trying to start a conversation. The way I look about it and think about it is, if I wouldn't say that and go up to somebody in a bar or in a restaurant or at an event, and if I wouldn't say that to them in person, why would I write it down?
Nice.
Don't worry about it. Just make it conversational and add value to the other person first. So one of the first things I say when someone connects with me or I connect with that person is, I look forward to supporting your content. Your content. Not, I look forward to you supporting my content. I look forward to supporting your content. And then I actually show them with an action, right? Show them with an action. Give them a like, make them feel good, right? Not just having an empty relationship. I think that is so important. It's not about the amount of volume, the number. It is truly about the alignment of your network and having people that are receptive to that, that express reciprocity. It's not a one-way street. It's called social networking. So in order to effectively market and build brands and friendships and relationships on social media, we have to be social. It starts by having conversations and actually building relationships that are deep-seated in value.
Tracy?
Yeah, I love what you've just said, Tara, and I think it's all around having it like it's a chat, and just making it human and getting to know people. And for me, it is around genuinely wanting to add value, genuinely looking about areas that you think you always be curious about something. I'm naturally, I think both of you are naturally curious. I love to find out a little nugget about something, or what inspired them to start that company.
Yeah.
And I think people like to feel that.
I'd love to say hi to Gumbor, who's joining us. Hi, Gumbor, good to see you. And thanks for being here with us live. And also we have Angst Patel. Thank you for joining us live too. If you have any questions, you can put them in the comments and we'll answer them in the second half as we go along.
And Tara, I had a question for you, which is around gratitude, because your book was just one of the most beautiful books I've read, and I would honestly recommend it to everyone. And I'm wondering if we link that to the circle of success, and you look back at the role gratitude has played in developing those very meaningful circles of success. I'm curious what role it has played.
Absolutely. And I believe that when we are grateful, gratitude it's the law of increase, right? So when we express gratitude, when we feel gratitude, we get an increase. I think of this as a mental piggy bank. It's how I explain it to my daughter. If you complain, it's like taking a coin out of your piggy bank. When you express gratitude, it's like putting a coin in your piggy bank. Well, eventually the piggy bank kind of busts, and that's how it feels when you're hanging around a circle of grateful people who are very successful. And I do believe the most successful people are the most grateful. I do believe that, because gratitude, again, it's the law of increase, but it also keeps it holds that success in, right? And when you surround yourself with people that are in that gratitude mindset, it only amplifies what you already have, but then it amplifies them as well. So it's almost this circle of virtuosity, just continually feeding itself, almost like it's an ecosystem of its own.
Mm-hmm.
And it continually feeds and nourishes itself. And then all of a sudden you're growing together. And it's pretty cool because it's a collective growth at that point, not just an individual thing. So it is a very much resonating power to it. Great question.
And I'm curious because, as I said, I just love gratitude so much. Do you find that the people that you naturally connect with are naturally grateful, or do you find that actually the impact that you have amplifies that gratitude in them as well?
I think both. And I think there's a third degree there. People that have never considered gratitude before, or they've heard it, but it's been a fluff kind of word maybe that they've never really thought about. And I've heard of that. So after my TED Talk released, a couple people approached me and said, "Oh God, I thought another talk about gratitude. Oh, I've heard this before." Or another talk about confidence. Oh. And then they watch it and it's a completely different take on it.
Mm-hmm.
So there's like a third type too of people that are just now realizing this has a deeper level meaning to it than I thought about previously. And they're curious and want to learn more because they want to go on that journey as well.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting stuff. So it's an interesting, again, ecosystem. I can't think of a better word, of people that are just growing their gratitude,
Mm-hmm.
just simply by being around in a circle of people that are already have it harvested, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think that's beautiful. And I'm just sort of thinking that if you think about qualities, or might have thought about characteristics of a circle of success, gratitude might not have been one of those core elements in that. But from what I'm hearing, and I think what we've experienced, is actually it's at the heart, isn't it?
It is, yeah. Mm-hmm.
It
And
is.
also trust. Like when you are trusting not only yourself but the other person, that you know you share not only your wins, but you share what you're struggling with. And if there is, whenever they help you out, you don't keep it to yourself, because it's selfish if you do. And it creates, when you share it and you elevate others, it creates, not only elevates you as the circle of success, but it creates a ripple effect around that circle. And many times I would get like a DM saying that, oh, that's what I needed at that particular time. And it's through a comment that you leave for somebody else, not necessarily within your, trusted circle. And that's why I think kindness, if you lead with the intention to serve, the intention to bring value, not only to your inner circle, but to the community at large, it shows. It really creates that ripple effect, that wave that lifts many.
Yeah, I think that's completely spot on, Nadia. And I think, when you look at the word success, you can so easily think about that achievements. And of course, achievements is one big part of being, building trust. But the key element is what you're saying. It's knowing where someone's coming from. It's knowing that there's the win-win. There's that I've got your back. And
Exactly.
and that ability to be open and transparent, and I know we all have to each other, and I think people feel that, and that's where the power comes. And when you bring that trust, if you think of a circle of success, not just like us where we work together but not in the same company, if you deepen that trust within a company, that's game changing. Because
Absolutely.
then you create that safety that allows that diversity of opinion to flourish, because you're the expert on innovation, Nadia, and that's what we want, isn't it? We want to have such a safe environment that I can go, Nadia, no, I don't think you're right. Actually, I think it's this. And that's where those great innovations come from.
Love that.
Exactly. Can you hear me? I think we went offline for a bit. Yeah, and I think that that's where, like, building that psychological safety, where you are empowered and you know that you're okay to share what you're struggling with. You're okay to share. We all have shortcomings. Nobody is perfect. But acknowledging that I know this is not my strong point and I can perform despite that. And I've reached out to Tracy, to Tara, things that I struggled with. And I know that they have my back, that I trust them enough to be vulnerable. And to be honest, that's one thing that I struggled with before. There's so much pressure to only share the wins, to only share the, your triumphs, but not what you struggle with. And you kind of try to do it alone, try to overcome alone. It leads to burnout. So it's so powerful to have a circle where you can be vulnerable, you can share things that you are facing. It can be small and it can be big. And in many times, a lot of people struggle with the small things that hold them back, and it gets amplified inside their heads and it's out of proportion. So it kind of recalibrates things back into a baseline so you can keep moving.
And I think that
So,
sometimes
ladies,
those struggles connect, don't they? Do you know, as you were talking, Ricky Patel came to mind, and he's been amazing at being so vulnerable online and sharing some of the mental health challenges he's had, and he's built this network around him that is enabling him to grow and multiply. And he's someone to really watch, but he's the perfect example of being so open.
exactly. We have Teresa here. She has a question. So, when you breathe into your heart with appreciation and gratitude, this energy reaches 5 to 20 feet around you. I didn't
Ooh.
know that. That's awesome. Thank you,
Let's
Teresa.
try that. Like, maybe everybody reading that comment that is so insightful. And in fact, I want to do it, right? What does it hurt? But hey, everybody reading that comment, try it right now. What I've learned is that if it doesn't hurt to try it, just do it, right? And it may have that resonating effect. And you know what if it does? What if we can transfer that energy to somebody else and help them? That's profound. So, oh my gosh. See, you learn something new about gratitude every day.
That is a great tip.
And do you know what reminds me? I think there was wasn't there a group that meditated, and I'm going to get the exact city wrong. I think it was on the west coast of the US, and there were some challenges in the area, and they brought this group together to really meditate. And I think a lot of it was around love and gratitude, and they felt the ripple effect out onto society. So that's what jumped to mind when Teresa mentioned. I think it really works. So.
Wow.
It does. I wonder, we have gone for Mary Diardol with us here, and she's into meditation and so on. So if you have any comment about that, gone for, please put it in the chat. We'd love to see your take on that. And do you have any stories to share about the amplifying effect of being in the right success circle? Once you found your success circle, do you have any stories to share there?
I want to share a story. Well,
Go
it's
ahead.
about Tracy.
Wasn't expecting that.
But again, it goes back to the conversation we had a couple weeks ago now, and it's just so perfect what you said. It was like just the exact medicine I needed to hear. But you said, would the $1 trillion, first off, do you have a $1 trillion impact? And I was like, well, yeah, I guess I never thought about it before, but you were like, no, yes, you do. So, okay. Yes, you have a $1 trillion impact. You're capable of that. So first, it's understanding that you are in fact capable of something that on the surface, right? It sounds incredible, but actually it's pretty true. And then it's understanding, would the $1 trillion impact version of you give energy to that? Would the $1 trillion, how would the $1 trillion version of you show up? How would the $1 trillion version of you, just do all of these things? How would they show up? Who would they reach out to? What dreams do they have? How would they, and thinking in that mindset really has helped me, because anytime I don't want to do something, like let's say I want to skip a workout, which happens a lot lately, I say, you know what? Would the $1 trillion impact version of me skip this workout now? And then I have like little Tracy in my head or shoulder. I'm not sure. Maybe I think it was a
create Tracy GPT. Tracy.
I got a couple little Tracy's.
Oh, I love it.
But that was pretty cool. And you know what else was cool? A story about Nadia. Before I went to London, you sent me this little care package. You're like the cutest person. And it was 2 books and a nice card. It was around Christmas time. And I just thought that was so sweet. And those books kept me company on my flight to London. So again, it's all about it's the little things that we can do to help amplify that circle and just continue to keep growing.
Oh, beautiful. And my story isn't as personal as that. That was very Mine is more around actually in a work environment. We did events all around the world, and we worked with sort of national oil companies and heads of government. And there were sometimes when we were in really challenging places, and we'd go in and we'd work with local suppliers, and sometimes we'd bring in some real experts that we'd been working with. And one example comes to mind where we were really up against it. And having this circle around us where we built this trust in this network, that we knew the clock was ticking before the president was going to walk in. And just having that trust that we knew we all had each other's backs and we would do whatever it took. That was, I think, one of the most powerful memories I've had. And that came from years of building that relationship, getting to know each other. And knowing that we were working in the same direction, and I think that it was very, very memorable, and something that I always look back and treasure. And I say to my clients, building that trusted network is important, because the winds are going to blow, there are going to be challenges. But if you've got people around, if you're strong, and then you've got people around you who are there and have your back, it's hugely impactful.
Those are beautiful stories, ladies. It reminds me of Simon Sinek when he shared that Navy SEAL table where they judged the trust versus skill set. And they would rather have somebody with a lower skill set but higher trust. And he has this thing called, would I trust you with my kids and wife?
Yeah.
That's the level of trust you need, because even if you fall back, there's somebody to catch you. Or even if there is something that may trip you, they will warn you about it, because it comes from that, place of love and gratitude. My story, Tara didn't know that I lived in London in Tower Bridge for a few months. When I was in England, and I received this card from England that has a personal note from your visit for your TED Talk. I still have it on my fridge.
Yep. I sent her back a postcard.
It brings, and postcards, we are in the digital age, and people, send you emojis or those are the small things that can, it's almost like putting a bow on a present, that it's small gestures, but they have a big impact. And that's where you get, when you get to that, inner, it's almost, I call it an onion, where you have layers. And we are, to protect ourselves, we put this, facade, and a lot of people do, with the outer world, and it comes from a protection standpoint. But you kind of go, when you get to the core, the closer you are to the core of that onion, the more beautiful that place is, because that's where you get that multiplier effect. That's where you get that all your actions come from. You don't think short term anymore, and you don't think with small wins. You think in 100x mindset, and that's powerful.
I love that
So
idea of the onion, Nadia. And what's coming to me is also, as you're building your circle of success, there's that bit of vulnerability, isn't there? Of finding out, well, what am I good at, and what am I not so good at? Because we all have our zone of genius. We all have that area that we know we excel at. And when we lean into that and expand that, that's where we're going to have the impact. And then it's acknowledging, hey, I'm not so good at this, or I'm not so good at that. But actually, there are people whose zone of genius is in that area. And the more you can acknowledge that and celebrate and celebrate each other's genius, the more you can build a circle of success where you're all playing, you're all in your zone of genius. And I think that, but it starts from a place of vulnerability, doesn't it? Of going, let me put that mirror up, let me just look and acknowledge.
Exactly. We have a comment here from Gunvor. So both gratitude and mindfulness meditation can be impactful ways of creating a grounded and beneficial mindset for growth and thriving. That's beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing, Gunvor. Um, yeah, I believe like being grateful. We take a lot of things for granted because, having a roof over our heads, having food on the table, having a loving family, having, trusted friends, those are gifts. Those are things that we should be very grateful for. And I know that Tara here would be the best person to talk about that. Her TED Talk, TEDx. It's a TED Talk. I see it as a TED Talk soon. Inspired over 400,000 people in less than a month. It's the best TEDx for February 2024.
That's
So I know. So I encourage everybody, if you want some inspiration on how gratitude can be, the root of your confidence and success, go check it out on YouTube. And what I love, you mentioned, Tracy, that acknowledging that we're not perfect, that we're not good at everything. For instance, yeah, I may be good at, content and so on, but I acknowledge that if it's, next level, I will go to Tara. If it's, getting deeper in leading myself, I will go to Tracy. So knowing what you're good at and what you need help with is not a weakness. It's actually a strength. And having people that are better than you in other areas, it's a blessing. So don't be intimidated if somebody else is better in a different area. It's actually a blessing to be surrounded with such people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it really is. And I think especially, I think I'm a bit older than you do, but, I look at people who are younger than me as well. And I have no problem at all I have a gentleman that helps me, really stretches me on some of my content. He must be 30. And I look and I just love the fact that he's younger than me, coming in with these fresh perspectives. So I'd say embrace help from different ages as well and different perspectives, because different cultures, that's where you get the magic. And it's coming out of your lane, isn't it? So I couldn't agree with you more.
And
Exactly.
that makes
Tara?
us so special, because I certainly I think of Nadia's wisdom and background. Oh my gosh, so completely different than mine. So we all have these unique skill sets, and that's so important. It's complementary. And when you're working in your zone of genius, when you're working and leaning into your strengths, there is no competition. You're only competing if you're trying to trying to be something you're not. Really. I mean, there is no competition when you're in your lane. And that's a powerful thing. And I look at us, and we're each in our own different lane. But how powerful are we in each of those places? And it's so amplifying to, again, as you said, Nadia, if I need this, I go to her. If I need this, I go to her. Not everybody is going to understand, but there's going to be, between one of us, the answer.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty powerful.
Exactly. Yeah, the other thing that I loved with you, Tracy, is your openness. Openness to be more creative, openness to embrace tech, openness to seek help from the best, irrespective of who they are, how old they are, or what have you. So I think having that growth mindset, also alignment in being in a growth mindset, is powerful because it kind of pushes you towards your growth zone. And many people, I remember couple years ago when I did the poll about what would entrepreneurs need help with, the number one was self-doubt. An imposter. I refuse to call it syndrome. It pathologizes it. It's a phenomenon.
Yeah.
But reframing that it's a sign that you're growing. It's normal. But having that growth mindset alignment is also key. In addition to the energy, in addition to the values and so on. And I thought that was key as well for us being closer.
I think that growth mindset, if you think of characteristics of a success circle of success, everyone having that is absolutely game changing. And that's what I love about each of us, is that we've got our areas. I mean, you've helped me no end with AI, and it's unlocked a new level of creativity that I hadn't imagined would come in that area. And that's just so powerful. And I can maybe give a little shout out. You've got your masterclass on Saturday, which has honestly made one of the biggest differences to my life. Nadia's expertise and really showing me how to leverage AI. It's saved me time, and it's been that brainstorming buddy. I have a lot of brainstorming buddies. It's been a unique brainstorming buddy. So I would recommend you all to come, because it's really been game changing. And I'm so grateful to you, Nadia, for that, for introducing me to opening my eyes to it, because I wasn't aware.
And you know what? You showed a beautiful example on how when you lower your guards, you remove the blinders, and you are open to trying new things and make them work for you, not the other way around. You can augment your creativity to 10, 50x. So thank you for the shout out, Trace. One thing that I thought was also important is don't expect a return. When you give without expectations. A lot of people are very transactional.
Yes.
And I've come to learn to maybe that's not my kind of people. And it's okay. Everything that happens, it's a data point. Sometimes we get nervous or we get down that I got a lot of no's. Actually, a lot of no's, it's good. It's a redirection to what will work. And going back to the masterclass, and again, I've suffered also from self-doubt, and I take action despite of it. And being an academic throughout my training, type A student throughout my life, that whole thing of what if it doesn't work can hold you back. And when talking to you both, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go for it because what I'm offering is gold. And if the others, it doesn't work for them, I'm okay with it. It's a data point. You attract the right people and you repel the wrong ones.
Mm.
So,
I can
yeah.
completely agree with you. And I think that one thing is when you go in with that mindset, some people can be surprised by it. I know, my style is very much in that I know with what I do, people need to feel the power of it. And so I do give a session or two complimentary. And do you know what? I genuinely do it with the intention of making sure they come out better off. If business comes out of it, fantastic. But if it doesn't, for me, I know in my heart that they have had an experience that has made them better off. But not everyone understands that, and they can be suspicious. And it's a shame, but I'm learning to just speak to my heart. That's genuinely my intention. And if people don't understand it, that's okay too.
Yeah. Do
I
you have
do love,
anything to add, Tara?
yeah, I do love the concept of giving without expectation of anything in return. That's love.
Yep.
I mean, that's love in its purest form. When we give and we have expectations, what happens? Resentment, jealousy, things like that, like low level, again, going back to energy, low level vibrational energy. So the only way for you to really, just gain something out of it, just give without expectation of anything in return. And that way you're not disappointed. Nobody harbors resentment. There's no jealousy. Just give. And then you know what I have found? That it always comes back every time you give. I've never given and not felt an increase myself. It'll come back in one way or another. Even if it doesn't, it's not, that's beside the point.
Exactly. We have a comment here. Yeah, go ahead. Keep going.
Oh no, I was just gonna say it's really powerful, and especially on social media, to give and be reciprocal is so empowering. Just like what I'm doing with my book. Anybody who's written me a testimonial on LinkedIn, I'm going to take a small little snippet of that, and I want to honor those people again in my book. Why? Because it adds value to them. People like seeing their name on paper. It makes them feel special, and it shows them that I pay attention and remember those folks. You know what? That's how you create a real loving fan base who's aligned.
Yeah.
Exactly. What's your book about? I know it's about public speaking and TEDx. You want to give the
Talk your way to the top.
For the audience?
Talk your way to the top. I haven't actually announced the book title yet. I was gonna.
There you go. You have an exclusive here on the healthcare. And follow Tara. What I love about you, Tara, that you take the audience on the journey with you. A lot of people, what they do, they develop something and then they launch it and then they tell the world about it. You take the people on the journey, and that embracing, they become part of it. So they become your biggest supporters, as it shows from your TEDx and so on.
And both of you are going to be in my book, so.
Oh, thanks. There you go. We have a comment here from Angst Patel.
Lovely.
When is gratitude? Hey, Angst. When is gratitude the right tool to use? Does a child with no home, no parent, and no food use gratitude? Is it universal tool or contextualized? Often we use gratitude when things aren't in our favor.
It's an interesting concept. I think there's always something to be grateful for. What we were talking about earlier, did I wake up today? You know what? I won the lottery if I woke up today. Are my lungs working? Yes. Is my heart beating in my chest? We don't have to have a lot of volume of things to be grateful for to be grateful. When you're grateful for the life that you have, there's gratitude in everything. And again, Yes, the more we have, the more we can be grateful for, but where do we start? Everybody has to have a foundational point and a starting point for gratitude.
Yeah.
We can't say, you know what, I'm grateful for everything, and when we're not grateful for anything, and go from, 0 to 100. But what can I be grateful for? And just starting to like incorporate it into your daily life. And there are people that have really hard lives and they're going through hard circumstances. I've been there. I've been there. I know what that's like. But I can look back on it now with gratitude because I see the journey and how far I came. And that's powerful when we can do that and really appreciate that journey, and understand that it was leading us up to something.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's
And
power in
many,
that.
absolutely. And many times when you're so close to something, you think it's a setback. Like skipping forward and then looking back, it was a redirection for one reason or another that gets you to where you are now. So being grateful, and that's a quote from your book, for your past, through your present, and the future self is key. And it helps you, you know, with the gratitude to the small things. When you're in the thick of it, you don't see it.
Yeah.
And it's understandable, that's human nature. But when you look back, what I thought was the biggest setback for me, like before, I even shared that I was all in many times the underdog, being from a small town, being from, living in a student housing at the time. Your professors don't think that you do well, and then you reach deep inside, and then you outperform, you outdo everybody else. At that point, I thought that it was the lowest low. But looking back, it was the one thing that motivated me to do better. So sometimes you're in a situation that may be dark or unfavorable, but
Yeah.
if you channel the right energy and use that as your competitive advantage, you can change that situation. Tracy?
I completely agree. And I think just, asking yourself in a difficult situation, what can I be grateful for in this moment?
Yeah.
That can shift your mindset exponentially. I've had that a couple of times. I had it with a work situation where I was really struggling. And I asked that question and it liberated me. And I can remember being shocked by how powerful that was. I remember my mum always saying, every cloud has a silver lining. And I remember thinking, oh, that's just what my mum says. But it's so true.
Yep.
It's so true. Sometimes you can struggle to see it, but when you just are still and you pause, you find it. And even if
Exactly.
it is, as you say, actually, my lungs are working. I'm here. I'm breathing.
Yeah. Yesterday at the dinner table, my 7-year-old, he's way beyond his years. It's like, Mama, would you take $50 million if you know you're going to die tomorrow? I'm like, absolutely not. And he's like, you're alive today. Why not behave as if you're going to make 50 million today? So when you
Mm,
think about, the worst case scenario, because when we are, we take a lot of things because it's there. We don't, we're not grateful for it. But when you see the worst case scenario, then you look back and you're like, oh, I'm grateful for a lot of things. I'm grateful for you, Tara, for my family, for Tracy, for having. It's very special when you find the right people, when
yes.
you
So true.
that align with you, that not only in values, in vision, that push you outside of your comfort zone, and they're there if you need help or you fall down. That is super special. And take time to build those relationships. Don't be transactional. Lead with the intention to serve. Go for it from a place of love and don't expect any return. And I can assure you, I had so many examples with both of you that leading with that value got at least 100x. in things that you think it's like small, it's, intuitive for you, but it was just what I needed at that time. It could have been a postcard, it could have been a word, it could be, embrace yourself, don't go in the background, and so on. So find those people, and it's okay if it takes time. It's a long-term thing, so take your time and trust your gut, trust that intuition, because it's there to tell you something.
And I think, just building on, take your time and value those relationships. Take time to get to know people, because you can just get so much connection and depth when you jump on a call with someone, and you can go that little bit deeper. 100%. And I think that's how we connected more and more, isn't it?
I think so.
I know it's virtual, but still, you're getting that more human interaction than just.
We're gonna meet in person, all three of us. I know it. I know it.
We got to go to London. We got to go. I am itching for an excuse to go back to London, Nadia.
Me too. I did my PhD there, and I want to go back. So there you go. There's your hint, Tracy.
You're spoiled, Tracy. You need to come here.
I will, definitely. I love the US.
Rapid fire, ladies. If for the audience, top 3 advice you would share with them in your respective field and in relation to building and strengthening your circle of success, what would you say? Tracy, you want to go first? No pressure.
I would start with get real clarity on your values and your vision on what you stand for, and get to know yourself. Then that is the biggest starting point, because I think when you've got that point, then you know who you want to align with. You're going to feel that. You talked about intuition. You're going to feel that connection. And then you're going to also know the people who are going to stretch you and amplify you and take you out of your comfort zone and complement you as well. So those would be my starting point. And I would also say, intentionally build trust. You cannot, honestly, trust is one of the most undervalued elements. And people say to me, oh, I have trust. Yes, but there's always a deeper level. And I think the deeper the level of trust that you have with your circle, with your inner circle, the more you're going to support each other, and the further you're all going to go.
Oh, is it my turn?
Go ahead, Tara. Yeah.
I love what Tracy said. I had to take notes as she was talking, so I would make sure to not say the same thing, because we're so aligned. I think sometimes we have the same brain. So complementing that, I would say, the people you're surrounding yourself with, who you tell your big goals and big dreams to, watch their energy, watch what they say to you, watch their reaction when you say it. That says a lot about who your circle is. It says a lot about their mindset and their growth capability. So, for example, I know that I could say, I'm going to go talk to the president tomorrow, and you guys would say, you could go better. Why don't you reach a little higher, right? Those are the friends we need to hang around with. So watch your circle, watch your friends, watch their reactions to your goals and dreams. Do the people you surround yourself with in your circle build up your confidence, or do they take it down? Nice. If they don't build up your confidence, guess what's going to happen? You're going to go like this, until you shrink to fit their size. It's not worth it. It's not expansive. It's not going to drive growth. 3, make sure your circle of friends has your back. They clap for you. And when you actually cross the finish line, they clap again. They clap all the way as you're falling and stumbling and running and trying. And then they clap when you actually get it. Watch those people. And it's a very small amount of people, a handful maybe, that each of us has. Those are your friends. And that's it. How'd I do? Was it good?
That's awesome. And you can,
How about yours,
connect.
Nadia? What are yours?
Rapid fire.
Oh my, rapid fire. Now it's on me. Now it's hard to top that up. Before I get mine, so check Tara's TEDx on YouTube.
100%.
You will be inspired, as did 410,000 people and counting in less than a month. So check it out. Leave her a good comment, and you may be included in her next book. So do it today. And for Tracy, you can connect with her on LinkedIn. You can book a discovery call, no pressure at all, and you won't regret that. Same thing for me. You can connect with me on LinkedIn, and I'm super excited and scared for the masterclass. I'm doing it anyway and bringing the value up.
It's going to be
This
awesome.
Saturday, March 16th at 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Now, how do we top these 3 tips? I think for me is be yourself, embrace your authentic self. Coming from a place where you don't fit with the majority is hard. But once you align with your values, with your authentic self, you come from a place of love that for the longest time I thought it's a weakness, but it's my superpower. Embracing those superpowers, it's your biggest differentiator. Finding the right people that you align with and trust that gut feeling. It's there. It's very strong for mothers. Use it. Trust and verify. And as you mentioned, it's for the people that are there over a long period of time. Look for those bodily cues. Most of the communication comes from body language, from tonality. If you're having that discovery call, look for those cues. Does it align with what they say and what their body is saying? And that's, for instance, with Tara, the first time I had you, before even reading your book, it was scary. I would say something, she's like, I didn't publish my book yet. You read it. When you find the right people, it just fits.
Yeah.
And that is very special. Cherish it, be grateful for it, and nurture it. Everything, a seed, if you find that seed, nurture that seed. And it takes time to get to a blooming flower. And enjoy the journey. Enjoy your friends. Be grateful for them and support them without, expectations of return. And with that, I know we're past the hour. This is the longest hour. I had a whole plan. The type A in me had a whole plan with bullet points, but I am you. This is going to go through the window because it's going to be an organic conversation. And yeah, this is awesome. Thank you so much for being here and sharing, this very special circle we have. And I hope the audience had some tips they can use so they can create their own and amplify and make bigger impact, not only for their immediate circle, but for the communities around them. Thank you, ladies.
And thank you to you both. And thank you for being part of my stuff.
Thank
I'm
you.
grateful for you too. Thank you. Bye.